Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin. As of this recording, we have over 1,000 Sunscribers. Remember, when you sign up for Suns Latest on FanArch, you become a Sunscriber. You are no longer a sub. Thank you. You're what makes this go. All right, so let's get to it. We got a lot to do, and I know I said I would get to Danny Manning as our super sub, but two things happened, and we're not going to be able to get to that. I just wanted to get get that out before we get into this. But we do have a great quote. Excuse me. Quote: I never really thought about records or anything like that. The only thing I thought about were championships. John Havlicek, Hondo. Arguably one of the greatest Boston Celtics ever. I put him in my top 5 Celtics ever, and there's a very good, like Moses Malone. There's an argument for Moses Malone being a top 10 player of all time. John Havlicek, there's an argument for him being a top 15 player of all time. He was quietly spectacular. You had to shoot him in both legs to stop him. He played 17 seasons. He was effective until the very last game that he played. I think he has 8 titles, and he was a part of all of them. He played with Russell all the way to playing with Dave Cowens. He was so freaking good, and he was the ultimate teammate, and he's the reason we have a 6-man. He was the guy he was a starter for a long time, and Auerbach figured out this is a spark plug. This is a guy that can bring energy off the bench, and John Havlicek is the original 6th man. And there's more to the Hondo legend, but I always, and being a Suns fan, watching Havlicek kill us in the 75 finals, he was also the guy on the other team that you never got too angry with because he played the game the right way. And he didn't care, as he just said, he didn't care about anything but winning. And you always respect a guy like that, even if he's beating you while he's on his way to winning. But I love John Havlicek. Absolutely love John Havlicek. All right, so sad news to start. It's the only news I'm going to do, NBA news, and then we're going to get to the games over the weekend. We just covered him like 2 or 3 Suns latest ago as the Legend of the Day super sub. In fact, I think he was the first super sub that we did. Novetsev came up with the idea to do Legends of the Day super sub. Former Sun and NBA 6th Man of the Year Rodney Rogers passed away this past Friday at 54. He had been paralyzed from the shoulders down after an ATV accident in 2008, died of natural causes due to his spinal cord injury. The injury led to the establishment of a foundation bearing his name. Rodney Rogers encouraged people with spinal cord injuries, and he promoted resilience and personal growth in the face of those challenges. His alma mater, Wake Forest, honored him with its Distinguished Alumni Award in 2022, along with an honorary degree. From original Suns latest Sunscriber, Curious Mind 2525, quote, rest in peace, Rodney Rogers. You will always be in the hearts and minds of Suns fans who had the privilege of watching your game. My prayers go out to the Rogers family. Rest in peace, Rodney Rogers. You will always be our super sub. All right, moving on to the games over the weekend. So if you just watched the Rockets game, just remember that we beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then we beat the freaking Spurs 111-102. Spurs were without Wemby, Stephon Castle, and rookie Dylan Harper. Suns were without Grayson Allen, Jalen Green, and Ryan Dunn messed up his wrist after a dunk attempt against the Wolves on Friday. So we were out with a lot. We're out of a lot of guys that we really do rely on. Big contributions from Jordan Goodwin. Got the start, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. 1 of 5 from 3, but guarding the Spurs, Darren Fox. Center Mark Williams, Colin Gillespie, each with 15 points, 11 rebounds for Mark Williams, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists for Gillespie, who is just killing it and is now in the running for 6th Man of the Year. No question about that. Dylan Brooks led us again, 25 points, 10 for 24 shooting, 4 for 12 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. What can't this man do? 5 assists, 3 rebounds from Oso, who is getting very comfortable as a facilitator, which is the strongest part of his game. Nice to see for Oso. Down by 11 in the second quarter. Book goes for 11 in the third. We outscored them 37-24, make it 86-80. We missed our first 9 threes. We got some 3-point shooting issues, especially on back-to-backs or I don't know. Well, this is the kind of things that we have to work out. Remember, we're way ahead of schedule on our wins and are grinding it out against really good teams. So I'm trying not to get too down on us. I think I'm sometimes a little bit too critical on this young and brand new team. 24 on 7 of 18. We finished 14 of 38 on threes. 24 and 7 of 18 shooting for Book. 2 for 6 from 3, 8 for 11 on free throws, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. For what Book, when Book doesn't have the best shooting night, he gets a lot of rebounds and he gets a lot of assists. So I know we're just still used to Book getting 30 on an effortless shooting, but teams key on Book because he is our whole offense right now. We seemed off the entire first half, though, in that Spurs game, right? We just seemed off. It might just be the euphoria coming down from the incredible win against the Timberwolves, but we are becoming a unit that lives and breathes as one whole machine. And when a few of us are off, the machine slows down, but Coach Ott is very good at making the adjustment. And some of the guys on the team, like Book, like Brooks, like Gillespie, they're like, hey, you know they're in the huddle saying, hey, everybody's got to do their thing. You know it. You can just... What did happen was clear. Someone said something at halftime, and it might not just have been Coach Ott. Felt like Book and Brooks took it upon themselves to lead and refocus because it was a different Suns team in the third. 61% shooting in the third. Then it was the Spurs who couldn't hit. Then they only made 30%. The Spurs looked really good in the first half, trying to make a statement without Wemby and Stephon Castle. We opened the fourth on a 10-4 run. Coach Ott is making the most out of each player's strengths. He is really keen on guys like Gillespie and Goodwin, our two-headed G, or two-headed point guard monster. He is focusing on what you do is what I want you to do out there, and let me worry about fitting it into the system that we're working with here. It's really, really cool. It is the strength of this team, and it was a really good win against the Spurs. And remember, people are saying, well, the Suns haven't beaten anybody with a winning record. Yeah, we beat the Spurs with Wemby. So I have to remember that I have to cut us some slack. So the game last night, and I think... I'm really trying not to be cynical. And no Kevin Durant, I get it. I think there was a part of me that was like, we don't match up well with this team. And this team with Kevin Durant could win the title. I hate to admit it. I don't like it. It's weird to say, but they are good. They are long. They are physical. They are fast. They can play any type of ball. Rockets without Fred VanVleet, without Dorian Finney-Smith, without Jashawn Tate, and without Kevin Durant. KD out for family and personal issues, so we didn't get to see Kevin Durant come back to Phoenix in a Rocket uniform. Suns without Grayson Allen, Jalen Green still out, Ryan Dunn with a wrist injury, and Mark Williams out due to load management. Nick Richards gets the start, but we got beat 114-92, and it was that kind of loss. Dillon Brooks stepping up, making threes, not settling, doing everything he could to help us win. And I hate to admit it, Dillon Brooks is the guy that does not make excuses, and I know he was tired. You could see it in his eyes. You could see all the Suns were tired. Going against Minnesota and the Spurs, even without Wemby, those were two big, exhausting physical games, and I just didn't think we had it against the Rockets no matter what we did, and we did a lot. We had 11 turnovers in the first half, 18 Rocket points. You cannot give the Rockets anything. You just can't give them anything. So it kind of turned out not to be too difficult for them. Good defense and hustle by the Rockets. They are a good defensive team. They make the extra pass. At least in the first half I saw that. They hit their threes. They are a good team without KD. Colin Gillespie, every game, makes one or two Steve Nash type open lane to the hoop layups. He does it so well, and with just under 2 minutes left in the half, he got the and one for that. He is also money from three when he gets the tiniest amount of space. Colin Gillespie is just killing it. 16 points on 6 for 12, 3 for 6 from three, 2 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. He did everything he could. 11 rebounds from Nick Richards. Not much offense. I don't need him to have a whole lot of offense. I felt we missed a lot of opportunities to get him more involved. Just getting him the ball above the rim. Rockets are huge. They're just a lot bigger than us, and it's you either have to match them or play small ball, and we weren't doing very well with the small ball. Really good defense from Royce O'Neal, especially on Şengün. Held Şengün to 18 points. Can't ask much more. Royce had a pedestrian offensive game, but not a bad one. He made some really clutch threes for us. 52-45 with 135 left in the first half after an 8-0 Suns run. Dillon Brooks is one of the best at realizing when to push for offensive pressure, not defensive pressure. That's how he doesn't know how to play defense any other way, but offensive pressure. Downhill, driving it right to them and forcing fouls or forcing them out of position. He is really, really improved his game with that. Rockets closed out the first half with a good response, led 59-50. Former Sun, Aaron Holiday, who I'm pretty sure, if you remember watching him play, I hated losing him. I said, this guy's going to be great. That's Drew Holiday's brother. And it's like, you could just see, it's like, give this guy some time. He's going to be a great, great player. 12 points on 4 for 7 from 3 in the first half. half. He ended up 6 for 10 on threes for 22 points. He absolutely killed us. He was the difference maker in this game. We knew what we were going to get from Thompson and Şengün and even Reed Shepherd, who stepped in for Fred VanVleet, and he's a solid player. We knew what we were going to get from those guys. Smith, we didn't. I don't think we were counting on Aaron Holiday to kick our ass. Second half, Şengün is great. I mean, that guy's got amazing feet for somebody who does not look athletic, but he's a bitch, and he whines after every play, even if a shot goes in. It's just stop. Everything is, me? Yeah, you. You're part of the guy. You're part of the thing out here. It's just, God, he's just a big baby, and it's kind of annoying to watch. Flagrant one on Book for pulling down Amen Thompson. It was the right call. Not malicious. Just, I don't want to say a lazy foul. It was a frustration foul, and it resulted in a 5-point Houston possession. And as close as we got after that, that really felt like when your leader, when the guy that you really need for clutch buckets is showing you that he's just having a tough time, I think that sets something up with the rest of the team. I'm not saying Coach Ott should have benched Book. We needed him. Book was really, really tired come the second half. I could just see it. Houston was really physical with him the whole game, and that is the playbook on guarding Devin Booker. You get in his face, you body him, you throw everything at him, and if he starts missing shots, you do it a little more, and you can take Book out of his game. That is Superman's kryptonite. 7-0 run for the Rockets to get a 14-point lead in 9 minutes of the third. Then a few non-calls and some BS calls on us, but honestly, the Rockets really did take it to us to start the second half, and we did not respond that well. They're pretty smart and pretty well coached, and they kind of see what your weakness is, and they go after it. They also just kind of play their game, and their game is good. It was the second game of a back-to-back. Book looked really tired at 4 minutes left in the third. Not a lot of points. He only took 11 points. Yeah, I'm sorry. He only had taken 11 shots midway through the third. He wasn't looking for his shot. Rockets can fast break. They can play half court. They can launch threes. They can pound it inside. They're tough. All this without KT. They can be pretty scary. Suns were rallying, got it down to 5, and then back-to-back turnovers. Missed opportunity by Gillespie. Just not themselves. Not the little miracle team that's been making those extra shots. 18 turnovers, leading to 26 Rocket points by the end of the third. We ended the game with 20 turnovers. I don't care who we're playing. We're not going to win if we do that. But good defense by the Suns in the third. We forced 7 turnovers. And the third ends, we're only down by 10. The Rockets, Amen Thompson, is really fun to watch. He's going to be an all-star, if not this season, for the next 10. Incredible athlete. Long, makes so much space for himself. He makes bizarre, unnameable shots. He's incredible around the rim. Really strong hang time. 28 points, plays above the rim. He is really good, but a lot of non-calls on the Rockets for the most part, and they're doing what the Pistons did back in the bad boy days. They're consistent with their physical play, and the refs just can't call everything. It's really smart. It's really frustrating, and for the most part, if you smack them in the mouth, they don't really respond to that. You have to beat them with a finesse game. What really pissed me off was Dillon Brooks was as aggressive offensively as the Rockets were defensively, but he had 5 fouls going into the fourth. I thought that was really weird. If they're going to, the refs just get tired of calling it, well, then don't call it when the other guys are doing the same thing back to them. And I thought that was odd. Huge collision between Nick Richards and Amen Thompson on a fast break. Nick gets the ball near the hoop. Thompson goes to block him with both arms. Like, bigger man, smaller man. Nick is a lot bigger than Thompson. And the moron commentators called it a basketball play on Thompson's part. Nick elbowed him, and he hit the floor, and his head bounced. It was really ugly. It was a nasty fall. But Nick Richards made the basketball play. Thompson did not. Thompson went to just slap him and knock him down. And the commentators, one of them, Grant Hill, and I think the other guy's name was Noah Eagle. For a minute, I thought, oh, is this Houston broadcasters? They were kind of bothering me, and they were kissing the Rockets' ass a little bit too much and saying, well, maybe the Suns are up against it. Maybe, it just seemed like their bias was Rocket bias, and it really kind of bothered me. Thompson gets in the air, gets an elbow from Nick, falls, hits his head. They called a timeout for review. The Rockets challenge, and they lost the challenge, finally. And Nick was going up for a shot. That's it. It was challenged because of how he hit the floor and how dramatic it was. Complete bullshit, though. Şengün knocks Gillespie down on an aggressive moving screen the very next play, then clearly fouls Nick Richards on the next play, but no call. A lot of just considering how physical the Rockets were. The game and the refs kind of let it get. They just kind of let it go. But if the Suns retaliated or if the Suns did something, the Suns seemed to be getting called on that. This foul discrepancy wasn't much difference. I know I'm sounding like a big baby. I'm telling you what I saw, and I didn't like it too much. Book got beat up every time he touched the ball. I'm all for physical play, but this was total BS. Noah Eagle, yes, he did the play. Former Sun Grant Hill, who I love, joined as analysts, and both were biased. They praised Houston for their physical play. It was hard to listen to. I turned down the volume after a while. 104.85, 4 minutes left. We just didn't hit the shots we usually do. 41% from the field, 35 from 3, 68 from the line. Yuck. 20 turnovers. Yuck. Rockets out-rebounded us 42-36. You ever have those games where you watch it and you're like, we're getting killed on the boards? 42-36 is not that much of a discrepancy. It just didn't look like it. 28 on 10 for 16 shooting from Amen Thompson. 7 rebounds, 8 assists. He's good. 18 points on 5 for 13 from Booker. He just didn't have it tonight. We really miss Grayson Allen and really miss Mark Williams tonight. Mark Williams and Grayson Allen would have made this a much closer game, regardless of back-to-back. Grayson's shooting would have made a big difference. He would have helped us not force so many shots. And I saw us forcing shots, taking shots with a guy in our face. We just didn't have a lot of firepower tonight. I'm going to say it. Şengün, as great as he is, total bitch, just a big, huge baby. Nothing is ever his fault. I can't stand players like that, and that doesn't matter how good they are. Suns sat the starters with 3 minutes left, except for Dylan Brooks, who just went up to Coach Ott and he goes, I'm staying in. He told Coach Ott, I'm staying in. You're not taking me out of this game. Man, Livers, Bouye, Fleming, Nigel Hayes-Davis made an appearance and didn't do anything. A Jeff Green appearance for the Rockets. You know that Jeff Green was in the same draft as Kevin Durant and Mike Conley in, 2007? And Durant was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, not the OKC Thunder. So just to brace yourself, I know it's a loss. It's tough to take. The next 10 games will be the biggest test for us in our young little season, because the next 10 games we have, they have a combined 64% winning percentage. I'm not saying we've had it easy, but we have played a bunch of teams. Kevin Durant didn't play. Wemby didn't play. We had the Wolves at full strength, Clippers without Kawhi. You see the pattern that I'm getting to. So it's a real good gut check for the next 10 games. But we are going to, I think we got the Nuggets. I think we got OKC before the month is out. We have some tough teams to play. But the West is tough, and we're in the West, and that's how it's going to be. So anyway, yeah, that was the Rockets. Now we will get to your comments. I didn't even want to put the Rockets thing in there. I was just kind of soured on the game tonight. I still think we played better than our numbers show. It's just a lot of turnovers, and we don't have our guys, and we need our guys for our system to work. Let us get to your comments for tonight. Anonymous Rex, Rich, with Gillespie progressing at a rapid rate, do you see his role as the sixth man, or do they need to put him in the starting lineup? If he starts, where would that leave Jalen Green? Looking way ahead, I know, but Colin is very good, and it's going to be difficult not to start him, especially considering we need a true starting point guard. Well, yeah, but the combo of Book and Grayson Allen as the starters, it works. No, there's not a true point guard, but between the two of them, they're really good facilitators. Tell me I'm wrong. It works. A lot of it has to do with Grayson Allen taking a lot of the scoring onus and pressure off of Book, and I think Book needs that. When Chris Paul was doing well with the Suns, Book just flourished because he just knew no matter what Chris Paul is going to be, Chris Paul could get open, make his amazing mid-range, or get Book open. Just could find him. Grayson Allen isn't Chris Paul by any means, but Grayson Allen can shoot better than Chris Paul did, and Grayson Allen can facilitate, which frees up Book to facilitate. So it ain't broke with that starting lineup. I mean, I'm surprised with the starting guards. At the same time, yeah, I love Colin Gillespie. If you make him the starter, that's fine. Did you notice that the last 2 games, Jordan Goodwin has been the starter? He's a better defender than Colin Gillespie, which I think is a good balance for Book. At the same time, I also think Colin Gillespie is really good off the bench, and I still think he needs a little bit more time to fully develop into what player he's going to be. You see flashes of his Steve Nash ability. He needs to be a better defender. Incredible rebounder. I don't think we lose a step if we put him in the starting lineup. I don't think we're losing a step with Goodwin in the starting lineup when Grayson Allen is out. I think it's just a preference, but I can't think about Jalen Green right now. Coach Ott is 100% working with what he has. So either way, Green, we will have to work into the lineup when he returns. The one game that Jalen Green played, you can't deny how good that guy is, and that guy is definitely a starter. Do we fall off defensively if he comes in? It's a really good question, and these are questions to be answered later. Curious Mind 25-25. All right, without Green, Allen, Dunn, and Fleming, the Suns could not hit Central Avenue with their shots in the first half, but still won because they played their butts off on defense. I think you're talking about the Minnesota game. The Suns have not. No, you're talking about the Spurs game. That's right. First half, we were off. The Suns have not one but two players in the mix for Sixth Man of the Year, the Killer G's, Colin Gillespie and Jordan Goodwin. Yes, we do. And the Suns have two candidates for MIP, Grayson and Colin. Grayson's running that one. The Suns have two candidates for All-NBA, Book and Dylan. I'm going to take a step back with Dylan. Dylan is all defense, at least second team, and definitely an all-star. I don't know about top 10 yet. I haven't seen enough games yet for the league. I love what he's doing, though. Yeah, I put Book there. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care that Book had an off game. Book is top 10 easily. Coach Otta is the leading candidate for Coach of the Year, 100%. Dylan is in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year. Not a bad team. Not bad for a team to pick the 30th worst team by the esteemed. Probably is checking for crow in his soup as I write Bill Simmons. It's always fun to rip on Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons is smart. Bill Simmons knows basketball, but it's fun to rip on him. They're throwing the amateurish preseason assessments of the pinheads at the worldwide leader of cluelessness. I friggin' love you. And the Suns are starting to shut the national clowns up. Even with the loss, we're starting to shut people up. It's pretty cool. Yep. To be fair, Bill Simmons gave credit to Jordan Goodwin on a recent podcast. He even called him out last year saying, this guy on the Lakers is really good. So we have to respect that he at least called that out. But like everyone else, he wrote off the Suns. ESPN wrote off the Suns. Sports Illustrated wrote off the Suns. CBS, all the experts wrote off the Suns. Kendra Perkins wrote off the Suns. I'm sorry, did I say experts? He's not in that conversation. We are doing this without Jalen Green, Mark Williams on load management, and Grayson Allen, who's been out for, 3 games now? We are very reliant on Grayson Allen. I knew we would be after Katie and Beal left. Yes, but pinheads, one and all. Suns are doing just fine and way ahead of schedule. BYB Boxing, you couldn't even write that ending against the Wolves. Right? So I'm not going to call the Rockets' loss a tough loss. I don't want to say we were due. It just felt like we got a little tired and definitely out-roughed. And I don't think the refs called a very fair game. There, I said it. It's going to happen. And you know what? There are going to be people that watch Suns win a game against somebody else. Like there's people that are saying, there's people in Minnesota saying the refs didn't call a very fair game. It's simply the life of an NBA fan. We're just simply going to have to put up with that crap every now and then. I appreciate you watching Suns Latest. I really do apologize for not getting to our super sub. It was way too much to cover with the 2 games, so thank you for bearing with me. If I don't get to Danny Manning on tomorrow, Suns Latest, you can call me horrible, horrible names. Rest in peace, Rodney Rogers, and thank you for watching Suns Latest.